Welcome back to another episode of Quote the Raven podcast. I'm your host Saint. Yo, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the channel. Let's blow up. Hey, I appreciate you for joining me, man. You could have been anywhere else in the world, man. You came back here. Or you came here for the first time and was interested in what the fuck I was saying. Or you a Baltimore fan or a Cincinnati fan, or maybe you just a curious, fan. What this dude talking about? Let me see if I can add him to the arsenal. Let's hope so. But this week, Baltimore, Cincinnati, both teams coming off of murking season. Baltimore just murked the Chargers, and Cincy just murked them sorry ass Lions. Yo, the Lions dead ass might go 0-17. I hope they do. I dead ass hope they do. Like, that's rough to wish. That's rough to wish your itty bad. But I hope the Lions go ahead and do that. Only because I saw Dan Campbell cry. Go 0-17 and then you really gonna have something to cry for. But Cincinnati put their foot their ass last week, as they should have. We didn't even blow the motherfuckers out like we were supposed to. I told you, bro, when a team go with Detroit, play Detroit, as long as that team play like they supposed to, it's gonna be an ass whooping. The only reason Detroit be in games because teams be beating themselves and ultimately still don't beat themselves enough to lose to Detroit. It is what it is. But Cincinnati, all the hype around Joe Burrow and whatnot. Lamar MVP candidate. I saw a stat the other day showing how much offense Lamar responsible for. Shit is insane, bruh. Like, oh man, it feel like they trying to curse us on TV. Everybody finally starting it. A lot of analysts, football players mostly, starting to give Lamar his roses and his flowers and shit. And listen, Joe Burrow is a stud. Y'all know I like Joe Burrow. I do. I don't know if y'all actually knew that or not. I have no beef with Joe Burrow. I like Joe Burrow, especially the cigar pick. That shit tough after they won the championship in college. But here my thing. Y'all heard, if you listen to the other podcast, my weekly predictions on Kicking It with Jay, and then I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, I addressed the Logan Wilson thing, calling Lamar a running back who play quarterback or whatever. And I'll go ahead and readdress that again. I seen some people address it on a couple sports shows this week. Well, actually, no, I seen like two people address it. I seen some fans address it on, very few Raven fans address it on the internet, on Twitter more so. And I told you, my issue with that whole thing is this. Josh Allen can run with the ball. So can Kyler Murray. So could Michael Vick. So could Troy Aikman. There's a lot of great quarterbacks who could run with the ball, but I never heard anybody say that was a running back playing quarterback. It's like Marcellus Wiley said, how is it a joke if nobody's laughing? Not only that, it's a tired ass joke. Lamar done won a unanimous MVP and led the league in touchdown passes, bro. How is that funny to call him a quarterback? And then when the dudes say he try to clarify it and all that shit, I'm not trying to hear none of that, my boy. I'm not trying to hear none of that. Because like I said, the man is a quarterback. To continuously disrespect him and say that's a running back playing quarterback, bro, I'm not laughing. I'm not entertained. It's not funny. It's old. And I hope we put our foot in your ass. I hope specifically you get fucked up this weekend. You specifically. Obviously, I want us to win. But I want you to be on the highlight reel specifically. Because I'm just so sick of hearing that tired ass joke, bro. And people say it so much. I be hearing analysts use that shit. Like, what? How are y'all paid to keep saying shit like this? Like, it's so funny to me that Molly done even got tired of Stephen A. and him moving the goalpost on fucking Lamar Jackson. But like, it's just wild to me, man. But with that being said, Cincinnati's a good team. Here's my thing. Here's why I'm picking us to beat Cincinnati. Shocker. I told you, I've been watching some of Cincinnati's game. I haven't watched all of them. I think I done watched about 3 of them. Cincinnati has a good offense. Here's my problem with Cincinnati's offense. It's hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes they like to shoot themselves in the foot. Sometimes they just sometimes Cincinnati just it seems like on offense they get lost sometimes. Like, and they do a good job of hitting the short routes here and there, and then having Jamar get up the field and shit. Like, they do a good job at working the field, like not just dinking and dunking. They go to the middle. They can get deep on you with Jamar and all that. My thing is, the toughest defense they done probably played this year was probably the Packers, as far as secondary. I believe the Ravens secondary, even hurt, will provide a bigger challenge, especially for Jamar Chase, because I know Marlon Humphrey is going to be the person who guarding Jamar Chase. And this is going to be an interesting matchup for Marlon Humphreys also, because I want to see how Marlo handles Jamar Chase. Because Jamar Chase and Mike Williams kind of from the same mold. Like, they like to get up the field on you. They big bodies that like to get up the field. So Marlo, a very physical corner, can tackle, can hit. I'm interested to see what he was talking about getting. This dude keep disrespecting macaroni and cheese, but he was talking about him needing to get his hands on some more picks. It's not getting your hands on the picks, bruh. It's catching the shits. Dude get his hands on the ball almost every week. Motherfucker just don't catch none of them. But yeah, this is going to be a very interesting matchup between them two. And I've been hearing people, like analysts, say the Bengals provide a lot of problems because, Tyler Boyd, Higgins. But if Double A continue to play good like I think he's been playing all year, and Tavon Young remain one of the better slot corners in the game, and Chuck and Deshaun keep balling the way they doing, this is going to be a tough game for Joe Burrow. Not to mention Lamar is 5-0 against the Bengals, and 2-0 or 3-0 against 2-0 against Joe Burrow. So this is going to be a big game for both teams, because the winner of this is in first place in the AFC North. And think about it. Baltimore win this game, we go to 6-1. Cincinnati fall back to what I think 4-3. That's going to be a 2-game, deficit, especially with Cleveland at 4-3 now, and the Pittsburgh at 3-3. That's going to be a good little lead for Baltimore. Now it's still early, so we could still falter. We could lose this game. I don't think we're going to lose this game, because I know Lamar and these boys understand the significance of this game, and Lamar rises to the occasion regardless of what people like to tell you on the internet, on TV, from the motherfuckers who I told you who just watching highlights, not the whole games. Lamar plays great in these type of games. Real funny to me that all these analysts like to try to bring up this last resort shot at Lamar nowadays is, oh, but he can't win in the playoffs. We seen what he does in the playoffs. Josh Allen has yet to have a good game in the playoffs. And I love Josh Allen. If you listen to this channel, you know that's my second favorite quarterback in the NFL right now. Josh Allen hasn't had a good game in the playoffs. Could have lost every single one of them games in the playoffs. If Baltimore's receivers catch passes in that playoff game, that's a completely different game last year. That's what I keep telling people. Lamar shows up. If you watch these games, you'll see it was other dudes not showing up. What scared me for these other teams right now is I saw a Bengal player say, like, we know that Baltimore want to run the ball, blah, blah, blah. Buddy, have you not been watching the tape? Baltimore been passing the ball, bro. Like, teams' refusal to believe Lamar can beat them through the air is what's going to cost these teams, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. It's one thing not to know. It's another thing to see it and still refuse to believe it. So, hey, I doubt Lamar going to have another bad game back-to-back weeks, bro. He's just not that type of dude who going to stack bad games. This is going to be a tough one for the Bengals, especially in Baltimore. I think Jamar Chase going to look like a rookie this week. I think Wink Martindale going to have great pressures drawn up in order to get to confuse Joe Burrow. And what's really interesting is Odafe Owe, this could be a breakout one. This could be a 2-3 sack game, because the Bengals need help on that line. That's the whole thing. People was talking about why you take Jamar Chase when you needed an offensive lineman, and I listen. I've been a Baltimore fan my entire life. Take a receiver. Take a fucking receiver. You can develop an offensive lineman, or sometimes you could just get one of them motherfuckers. Like, I'm not saying offensive lineman is easy to come by, but I just think as a Baltimore Raven fan who done had way more great offensive lines than great receivers, I have no problem with them taking Jamar Chase, bro. And the thing is, I also think people underrating Baltimore's receiving core. Speaking of receivers, I like Cincinnati's receiving core. I really do. But I'm starting to love Baltimore's receiving core. Marquise Brown do gotta stop with this fucking drop balls, man. I think I saw a list the other day. I think it says since like he been in the league, he like third in the league in drops. He gotta fix that, especially when you look at how much Mark Andrews done improved this year. Like, Mark Andrews looked 10 times better to me this year than he did last year. And it's funny that everything I kept constantly repeating on this channel about him is finally done started coming to fruition, man. Like, I'm not going to keep rehashing it. Yes, I am. Him getting open in space, being able to get open in these zones, consistently beating his guys when he manned up on somebody, being phenomenal at run blocking. I mean, Mark Andrews just does it all. And it was a report that Buddy getting healthy now. Boyle's starting to get healthy. Oh, man. I'm telling you, man, it's all coming together. James Prochet, Devin Duvernay, them boys balling, bro. They been big pieces to the offense this year. I think what's done changed this offense is that Greg Roman is starting to get production and drawing up plays to get production out of so many different guys now. And it's working. It's working. Don't be fooled by last game's offensive numbers. I'm telling you, don't be fooled by that. Only dumbasses is fooled by that anyways. You know, because if you looking for a reason to hate on Lamar Jackson, that was an easy way to, that's an easy way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Ignore the whole season and just we'll go with that. Like, I heard a Cleveland fan tell me, and it's always something with these fucking Cleveland fans, man. It's always something, bro. Cleveland fan told me this week on Twitter, man, that he would rather have Baker Mayfield than Lamar Jackson. All right, bro. All right. I'm done with it. I'm not arguing with nobody who say no shit like that, bro. Can't do it. Won't do it. But this going to be a good game. Now, listen. I told y'all that the Charger game was going to be a good game. I'm less confident that this one is going to be a good game, but I'm going to say it is because it's an AFC North rivalry game. However, I have more faith in the Chargers than I do in this Bengals team. For one, this is going to be the best offense that they done faced this year. I know the Packers offense is good and whatnot. The Packers offense, to me, is not as good as the... Actually, let me check the numbers on that and I'll get back to you. But I would still take our offense over the Packers, bro. I just think this is the biggest test that they defense going to have to face as far as us being able to run the ball and throw the ball. And I really think we're going to be airing it out this game. Like, I think you just going to see a big dose of us air that bit out. But I'm excited for this game, man. I think this is a 1 o'clock game, too. Gotta with it. This will be a big game for the Bengals, too, because if you're a Bengal fan, this is the type of game you want your team to win to prove that we can compete with these top echelon teams. Like, you had an opportunity against the Packers. Your kicker wasn't built for the moment. Now here's another shot. Here's another shot. And it's on the road. So you go into Baltimore and get this dub. Whoo. Now, granted, this win for either team could mean absolutely nothing when they play again later on in the season if both teams falter from this point on. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I just think both of these teams in emotion right now. Plus, I'm going to take John Harbaugh over their coach Zach every single day of the week, bro. John Harbaugh underrated. All he is a consistent winner. Made the switch to Lamar and them boys because he knew it was time. Time was up for number 5, man. Time was up. I love Flacco to death, but time was up. It's time to move on. And we've been winning ever since. Winning ever since. I really feel like this our year, man. This year just feel a little bit different. Like the Warriors this year. Like, it feel like we about to do something again this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't know, I was a Laker fan my entire life. But that's because I grew up idolizing Kobe. Kobe being my favorite athlete my entire life, right? Kobe only played for the Lakers. So naturally, my team my entire life has been the Lakers. And I stuck with the Lakers after Kobe retired and everything. And I fell in love with Lonzo and Brandon Ingram. I never really was really big on D'Angelo Russell, but Lonzo, Ingram, Josh Hart, Caruso, the young Laker team we were starting to build, even though we wasn't great, that was my squad now, because now I'm watching young dudes with the Lakers grow and become great. I'm watching them grow again, like I got to watch Kobe grow. So it meant something to me to watch that. You know what I'm saying? Then LeBron signed and they start trading away all our young guys who I already invested my emotional investments in. We bring over AD, and just newsflash, I'm not an AD fan, never have been, never will be. Motherfucker always hurt. Then we bring over Russell Westbrook this year, and I love Brody, like just the dude. The player, I do not want him on the Lakers. So ever since we had traded them dudes, it had been real hard for me to continue to watch the Lakers. Because I do love LeBron, but I don't like watching LeBron per se. Like I used to, but this new older passive LeBron where you might get a big game out of him every couple days or so, yeah, I'm not really involved. I'm not invested in that. And I was trying to hang on to my Laker fandom for so long. But in the midst of all this, I grew up also watching Steph Curry. When he was in Davidson, from the moment he was at Davidson, I had been watching every game because my mom was a fan of him. So when he got to the league, I had been following him ever since then too. I used to use them on 2K. I mean, not on 2K, on NBA Live and all that shit. Love Steph Curry. Could not understand how he wasn't the first pick in that draft, bruh. So he got hurt. Obviously, he's still hurt, but Kobe's still playing. You gotta understand. So I like Curry at this time. Like, I like him. I'm growing to love him and all that because I'm emotionally invested because I'm watching him grow. But I'm also still with Kobe and the Lakers, and we winning. We got Powell. We got Shannon Brown, Trevor Ariza, Sasha Vujacic. We got all these young dudes on our team who I'm watching grow with Kobe and them boys, buying them. Powell, you know what I'm saying? It's just you emotionally invested in watching these dudes grow. And then this Laker team, they just trade all of them away and go after these vets. It's kind of like a hit squad that it's not really even that. Like, yeah, we got that championship, but I call that shit the G League COVID 2K Summit Championship, man. Like, I don't really hold that title in too highly regards of all the titles I done seen the Lakers win in my lifetime. And like I said, it's just I'm not a fan of AD, bro. But so over this time, I have been falling in love with Curry this whole time, right? And so when Kobe finally retired, I was like fully invested in watching Steph Curry. Like, remember, he had already won a title. And like, no matter of fact, that's when they first playoff run when he hit this buzzer beater that should have been a foul. It should have been a foreplay to win the game. Instead, it took it into overtime against the Pelicans. And I had just been riding with Curry during his rise. Before that had even happened, when he was dropping big buckets and they was calling him the babyface assassin. But Clay and Draymond still needed time to grow and shit like that. And so over the last, since Curry been playing ball, Curry been my second favorite player all time. But now Curry is up there with Kobe as like my two favorite players all time. Like, I can't differentiate between which one I love more because I love both of them like unbelievably. Like, those are my guys, bro. So I done officially laid down my Laker jerseys. Until AD is not on the team anymore, until Russell Westbrook is off the team, see, I can deal with LeBron being there. I didn't really want LeBron to come to LA because I knew this was going to happen. Instead of just growing with Brandon Ingram and Lonzo, I knew he was going to trade them motherfuckers away. So, and Julius Randle. I fuck with my boy Ju, and I'm glad he balling with the Knicks. But until AD ass is gone, until motherfucking Westbrook is gone, and at this point where I'm at, until fucking LeBron's gone, until my Lakers start all over again with young stars and young guys who I can watch grow and be great again, I'm hanging my Laker jersey up, bro. And I don't give a fuck what nobody say, because I've been a Laker fan my entire life. And I never called myself a Golden State Warrior fan. I always said I'm just a Steph Curry fan. I don't root for the Warriors per se. I root for Steph Curry. He plays for the Warriors, so I have to root for him. If he played for the fucking Knicks, he could have played for any team that wasn't the Warriors, and I would have rooted for him because I love Steph Curry. Now, I'm hanging up my Laker jersey. I'm straight up a Warrior fan now, bro. Like, I'm not even going to hide it. I love Clay. I don't watch him grow. I don't watch Draymond grow. Iguodala back. It just feels familiar. It feels like home. It feels nostalgic. You know what I'm saying? It's a warm, fuzzy feeling. And so I'm fully a Warrior fan this year. So, yeah. And you saw my boy Chef Curry drop 48 the other night. But this is not a basketball podcast, bro. But back to people going to be listening to this and they're like, what the fuck? We were supposed to be talking about Baltimore and Cincinnati. And we is. Calm down. Listen, I think this is going to be a big game for the Cincinnati defense. Cincinnati defense, I believe, is overall ranked 5th. It's a good defense. But like I said, this is going to be a test against Lamar Jackson. And it's in the AFC rivalry game. And it's in Baltimore. Crowd going to be real hyped for this one. This is a big game. And I'm not saying that Cincinnati can't win this game. I'm fully aware that offense can make shit happen. But I fully believe Wink Martindale has a game plan for Joe Burrow. Now, I saw these stats about Joe Burrow being so disgusting when he blitzed. And to be completely honest with you, I've seen those stats for a lot of quarterbacks. And that's cool. But the defense is in a level of competition that they done beat. It really pales in comparison to Baltimore. So, like, the team that they beat that I want to give a lot of credit to the most is Pittsburgh, but we've seen what they is this year. So, you know what I'm saying? If they beat us, this their biggest win in a couple years, as a matter of fact. So this more than likely gonna be a playoff atmosphere. And Lamar built for it. Wink said he see Marlo hitting his helmet, and he just know game time. I misquoted that. But he said something around of that nature. But I'm telling you, man, I just like where Baltimore is right now, man. I'm not trying to jinx us and say, oh, we just the best. No, I told you a couple videos ago, we all got flaws. Every team in the NFL to me done been proven that they can be beat, even the Cardinals. But Baltimore's starting to get healthy. Deshaun Elliott starting to feel it. Marlo's starting to feel it. Josh Bonds had a good game. I'm hoping he can replicate that, because that's what Cincinnati going to want to attack. Cincinnati going to want to attack that middle of the Baltimore Ravens defensive line. Like, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about the secondary and how the secondary not really ranked too high this year and all that. Like I said, they've been hurt. And now they starting to, really whip into form. The different exotic pressures and shit. I saw somebody say on one of the sports shows this week that Wink Martindale is the best in the league at making you think he bringing pressure and then dropping dudes out and actually playing coverage and only sending like 4 or 5. I cannot remember who said that. It might have been on Speak for Yourself. Either way, whoever said that was a dope, brilliant ass fucking quote. That was a dope quote. I heard him say that and I was like, man, that is a good quote. Like, it's a good quote when you wish you had said that shit. That's where I was at. I was like, damn, I wish I had said that on the podcast, bro. But either way, that I agree with that. So I believe because he is good at that. And that's another thing. Joe Burrow and Herbert were in the same draft, so they're gonna be compared to each other and shit. I kind of think Herbert is a better quarterback though, but not by. Nah, I don't really want to disrespect Joe Burrow, because I think Joe Burrow a fucking stud also. It's just, I feel like, and it's going to be real funny if we end up getting our asses whooped, but I just feel like this Wink Martindale was able to fool and disguise shits against Justin Herbert, who is a damn good quarterback with damn good weapons. Like, I would go as far as to say they got better weapons in LA than they got in Cincy. But it really is hard to duplicate that type of game. Because to me, defenses is a week-to-week type shit, bro. Which is why I think this is going to be a big test for the Cincinnati defense. But this is also going to be a huge test for Baltimore defense. Because like I said, if you've been watching, you know I done said this multiple times, man. Baltimore's fucking linebacking core might be the worst in the NFL. With Patrick Queen, who easily the worst middle linebacker in the NFL. I done said it, man. People can see that this man gets worse and worse on a game-to-game basis, bro. I cannot remember the last... I don't even know what I just said. I cannot remember the last defensive player on Baltimore who got worse game after game after game after game. And it was so blatantly obvious. Maybe Brandon Carr. But he was old and already expired, came from Dallas at that time. So I don't really like using him as an example, bro. But I do remember the Twitter riot that went on about getting rid of that motherfucker. Excuse me, but shout out to him. But this is going to be an interesting game because Baltimore got to stop that Joe Mixon run. I like Joe Mixon, man. That man knocked out a woman and still in the NFL, man. Salute to him. Don't know how he ended up doing that. You should never put your hands on women, obviously. But boy, he survived that. And got an extension. Now, they did kind of hustle him on the extension because they knew he was going to have to take it because of that. You know, and I hate when shit like that happen because there's other players who don't have to take pay cuts based off of their past mistakes and shit. But that's neither here nor there. I fuck with Joe Mixon, man, and that's a good run attack. That's a better run attack than Baltimore's. That's a more reliable run attack than Baltimore's at the moment, in my opinion, because Baltimore don't know what they're going to get from these running backs on a week-to-week basis, man. But I did hear that Le'Veon Bell is officially on the roster, and if that means Taysom Williams is off the roster, I know some people keep saying, oh, let's give him a chance, let's give him a chance. I mean, he just ain't shown me nothing to really say, let me keep giving him a chance. I would prefer to see what Le'Veon Bell got left in the tank by giving him the majority of the carries. And if he get the majority of the carries for about 3 to 4 weeks and he just ain't doing nothing, sure, go with somebody else. But I just want to see what he has left in the tank. I want to see if New York was more so on the fact that that's a bad team or if he really had lost it or not. Plus, he don't cost us nothing anyways. So I just want to see. But if Baltimore got the pass going and the run going, it's going to be tough. This could end up being a shootout because if Cincy got their pass and they run going, yeah, it's going to be a shootout, most definitely. Bless me. Bless me. But if it come down to a shootout, then that means it could come down to the field goal, and you already know I'm taking JT for that. I just think this is going to end up being a real good game. I think I probably said early in the podcast that this might not be as good a game. Maybe I did say that, maybe I didn't. But this is going to be a good game. I said it like I said. I said that about the Chargers, and then I didn't. What you can't really bank on is the fact that these is still young quarterbacks, so it is going to be weeks where they just absolutely get outmatched by great defensive coordinators. And that's what happened to Justin Herbert. That don't take nothing away from him. He going to learn from that and be better from that in the future. But like I said, Burrow done seen us a couple times. But it's not the same offense. Obviously, Jamar Chase, other dudes is healthy. So I'm very interested. But I'm taking Baltimore at home, man. We got to get this home win, man. Got to get this home win, especially when you got to go to Cincinnati and play this team again. So you definitely got to get this home win. I know a lot of people keep saying that this is a bigger must-win for Cincy. I don't really think so. I think Cincinnati got a little, a light schedule. More so than Baltimore. I think Cincinnati also, like I just said, they play us again at home. So they could easily beat us later in the year at home. And if they doing what they supposed to, that'll fuck up the tiebreaker per se, because then it'll just be based on record. But if they don't end with a better record, or they end with the can't beat worse record. But let's say Baltimore and Cincy both end up with the same record, but Cincy, they split it. Then it becomes strength of schedule, which I believe Baltimore would end up winning that. But I'm interested because I've seen a lot of analysts also say this week that they don't believe in Cincy, that they believe like Cincinnati could fade out towards the end, like they might not be built this year to go far. I don't know. I don't know. It's like I said, the offense looked great sometimes, then other times it just looked like lost in translation, man. Just what the fuck are we doing right now? Whichever one show up, it's gonna be very interesting on Sunday because I really do believe that this is a game. I feel more confident in Baltimore winning this game than I did against Baltimore beating the Chargers. I feel more confident in Baltimore winning this game than I did against Baltimore beating the Chiefs. And I'm not too sure why, but I think the biggest reason that I believe in that so stronger than I did these other ones is because I believe after seeing what Wink did to Herbert last week, it's hard for me to get that out of my head right now, right? And then I'm thinking about what Wink done to Burrow in the past and what he's done to young quarterbacks not named Patrick Mahomes, because he done even had great games against. He done had 2 great games against Josh Allen. So is if Cincinnati have a great game, it's because Joe Burrow finally got a hold of great. It's 2 ways that Joe Burrow can handle this. Either he about to grow up on Sunday and be able to fuck up Wink Martindale's plans, or he gonna be able to capitalize on different injuries / the middle linebacking core. One of them 2 ways to me could lead to a definite win. The other one could lead to, both of them gonna end up being down to the wire with Lamar on his side, because I believe Lamar gonna be able to do what he do, especially after hearing Bozo Logan talk about he's a running back playing quarterbacks. I'm so confident, but this is gonna be real. That's why I'm so interested, because I love football, so I love seeing players get better and shit like that. And even though I'm obviously watching to see Baltimore win and whatnot, I also want to see how Joe Burrow, because 2 things can happen. Joe Burrow can have a good game and we can still win the game. 3 things can happen. Those 2 things, and Lamar can ball out also. So that's why I'm so interested to see how Joe Burrow's development, what his development leads to on Sunday against Wink Martindale. Because Wink Martindale, one of the better defensive coordinators in the game. I know a lot of people, listen, if you take away that Patrick Mahomes game and that Raiders game, I believe, the stats don't look as bad for this second. And plus, you got to keep remembering, a lot of players on IR for the Ravens that would be difference makers in the defense. LJ Fort and Juice Man, Marcus Peters, 2 huge losses. You might not know who LJ Fort is, but LJ Fort is a big loss. And if you're a Baltimore fan, obviously you know who he is. But I'm just really interested. I said that multiple times, but I really am intrigued to see what Joe Burrow does against a Wink Martindale defense. I think this will be his either 3rd or 4th time seeing Wink. I think it'll be his 3rd. And for Lamar, this will be his 6th time seeing the Bengals. But obviously, no 2 times are the same. So, but just this gonna be a good fucking game for me, as far as like learning a lot of different shit in this game. I learn a lot of shit every game, but man, this is gonna be, it's a lot to learn in this game, because the matchup between Marlowe and Chase, yeah, his name is Chase. Damn, but for some reason I keep wanting to say Chase Young. Jamar Chase. The matchup between Jamar Chase and Marlowe really intrigues me to see how Marlowe played that, how Jamar handled that. Our 2 and 3s with meaning Tavon Young and Double A, seeing how they handle Higgins and Boyd. You know, our front. That's always important for me to watch because of how bad our defensive. I really want to see how we do the pressure, because I saw how we did it last week. It's a lot of shit to learn in these games, man. I'm telling you, man. So much to learn in these games. But that's my thoughts and synopsis on the game. Obviously, I'm taking Baltimore to win it. But I really don't know. I think it's going to be a good game, and I think it could potentially be a shootout. But it being a shootout, it's going to be 2 things is going to have to dictate it being a shootout, because Lamar going to be ready regardless. However, some apologies for that. However, it's going to determine heavily on If Cincinnati's defense really is a top 5 defense like the stats say it is, and if Joe Burrow done developed and progressed enough, because I don't really, the teams he done beat, it's really hard for me to really care too much about them teams. Like, I expect him, if he is good as I think he is, to beat those teams. But I'm interested. So this is gonna be a great game, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I really do. Hope you have a dope night, dope day, dope afternoon, whatever point in time you're watching it. I'm about to smoke a blunt, so I'm about to have a great night. And, tell somebody you fuck with them, man. And join me on a different podcast, man. Anything on the channel, like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate all that shit. But, hey, Saint out.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. There's these 2 words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps because they know what happens next. So without further ado, free smoke. Look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver, pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga, that's what we do. No foundation, we don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends, don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing.